So if you're into technology or just trying to improve your Wi-Fi setup, today's topic is perfect for you. So we're going to be breaking down what exactly is an access point when it comes to IT. So maybe you heard the term before, or maybe you think it must be one of those cybersecurity devices people use. I'm going to say it's not, but I also want to say don't worry, because by the end of this video, you'll know, or you'll have a complete grasp or clear understanding of what it is, why it's useful, and how it fits in your home or office network. Okay, all right, so let's start with the basics. What is an access point? Well, at its core, an access point, or I want to say AP for short, is a device that allows wireless devices like your phone, your laptop, your tablet connect to a wired network using Wi-Fi. So think of it like a translator or a bridge between your wireless devices and your main network, the main router. So imagine you have a router in, say, one corner of your house, apartment, dorm, what have you. And the router sends out a Wi-Fi signal, but it only reaches certain areas of the apartment, house, what have you. And say say it only reaches in the living room or the kitchen. So this is where an access point comes into play. So you'll place it in a different part of the house or the apartment, maybe upstairs, where it would pick up the wired network connection from your router and then broadcast a strong signal, right, into the areas that the router itself couldn't reach before. So based off that example, so you'd be like, yo, Ezekiel, does a router and an access point do the same thing? And I'll be like, well, not exactly, because you see, the router directs traffic between the local devices and the internet. But an access point doesn't do any routing at all, right? Its primary job is to extend the Wi-Fi coverage or Wi-Fi signal, acting like a relay station to try to transmit data wirelessly between your devices and your main network's router. So think of the router as the brain of your network, and because it assigns the IP addresses, it handles traffic, and it decides where data goes. But the access point is, on the other hand, is more like an assistant, right? It helps you get a strong Wi-Fi signal in places where your router couldn't reach before. That's all it does. Well, okay, not okay. It depends on the access point, right? Now you might be wondering, like, when would I actually need an access point? I'm gonna say an access point is commonly used in large environments like businesses, schools, or large homes with multiple floors, because the router can reach everywhere. Okay, so imagine this: you work in a 4-story office building. You don't want the people on the 4th floor struggling with poor Wi-Fi just because the router is in the basement of the building. So your network admins or IT people will install multiple access points throughout the building to create a seamless network. So this ensures that if the employees move from room to another room, their device, their phone, their laptop, what have you, would switch to the nearest strongest access point without actually dropping the connection. You get what I'm saying? So devices in the building wouldn't really be searching for connection. No drop off. Okay, so how does the access point actually connect to the rest of your network? Now, this itself is pretty straightforward, because most access points are connected to your router using an Ethernet cable. This is a little cable, but they also need a power source as well. So this could either be a regular power adapter or something called PoE, which is really cool, right? This is short for power over Ethernet. And PoE is especially handy because it means you only need one cable to, I guess, power and connect the access point to, making the installation itself pretty simple. And this is particularly useful if you're mounting, I want to say, the access point on a ceiling or in a remote location somewhere in the building. Now, I want to quickly touch on some, I want to say, common points of confusion, or when it comes to access points versus range extenders. Okay, so although they sound similar, they work totally different. A range extender simply takes the existing Wi-Fi signal from your router and then repeats it, which can lead to a slower connection and sometimes tricky setup. if you ever use an extender, you would understand what I'm saying. Now, an access point, on the other hand, so it directly connects to the main router using a cable, which means that you get full speed Wi-Fi in extended areas without any performance drop off. Now, I don't know how to explain this, but I want to try to simplify this. So, range extenders are for quick fixes, but access points are for more permanent and robust solutions. You might also have the question of like, how do you choose the right access point? Now, there are a few things to consider, right? When trying to decide for your home network, your, I want to say, like IT department, what have you, there are a few things to consider before choosing your access point. Now, number one, I would say, is area or coverage area. So it's like, how much square footage are you trying to cover with your access point? Is it like for the fifth floor of your apartment, or your house, the fifth floor of your house somewhere, or the 10th bedroom, of your mansion? Also, you need to consider the number of users, right? How many devices will be connected at once? If it's the fourth floor and it has like 10 people working on the fourth floor, do they have smartphones connected, laptops connected, desktops connected, what have you connected? I don't know what devices they will have in the company. Or same thing with your house, right? It's like, do you have kids? Does your spouse have computers, tablets, uh, TVs connected, refrigerators connected? All these things you need to take into consideration, because traffic, right? Because even though this access point would allow access to Wi-Fi, you still have to deal with traffic. So something to consider. Uh, so another thing to consider too, or I wouldn't say additional features to look out for when you're looking for your access points, is, do you need support for guest networks, and or you need to implement different security protocols with your access point. Now, if you're setting up a network for a business or for a busy household, you want to look for an access point with multi-user, multiple input, multiple output. Also, you gotta look for dual band support, and you gotta look for an access point with strong security features. I don't want to spoil the fun of actually going out there and buying your first access point and setting it up in your house. So yeah, that's a quick overview of what an access point is, how it works, and when you might want to use one. The next time you're struggling with weak Wi-Fi in that far corner of your house, or setting up a business network, you'll know exactly why access points are so valuable. So if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more tech insights. If you have any questions or want to learn more about network setups, just drop them in the comments below. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next. Peace.